How's everybody doing out there? I gotta get set up here. Dang it. What a pain in the ass. A pain in the ass. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. I'm seeing what I can do here. There we go. Okay. So we did a live video. I don't know if it was, I think it was last night. I don't remember. But I told you I was going to surgery. And that's exactly what I did. I did go to surgery. I'm trying to get the light here. Let's see if it, there it goes. Is that a little better? Okay. All right. Can you see my hand? All right. The pain is like somebody just chopped my hand off. I got carpal tunnel surgery. Now I had it on this hand, and this one here is still healing up, but it's almost there. Now this one had to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and explain to you situations. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet, but I'm going to talk about something. Right now, I'm in excruciating pain. They gave me 5 pain pills that are supposed to last, I don't know how long, but that's the limit that they would give me. So I took one when I got home, and I think it's worn off now. But yeah. I got carpal tunnel surgery on this hand because at nighttime, this one doesn't have any, the fingertips aren't, what can I say, numb, okay? They're not numb, but at nighttime it goes to sleep. And then sometimes when I'm driving, it hurts. So I had the opportunity to go ahead and get this done, and I said, well, I might as well go ahead and get it done since the opportunity arose. By the grace of God, I was able to get my hands fixed. And, I just thank God that it all came together. But it looks like I am left-handed, if anybody wanted to know, but it looks like I'm going to be out of work for several days, possibly a week. I kind of went to work right away when this hand messed up, probably about 3 days later after I got the surgery. And they told me I shouldn't have done that I can actually destroy the nerves and the tendons in my hand by rushing it. So since I'm left-handed, I'm probably going to wait a little bit longer to go back to work with this hand. This hand here is already kind of messed up. I think I mentioned it before. I had a motorcycle wreck, and I messed up my wrist when I was a teenager. But I'm just letting everybody know that surgery is a big deal. I don't care if you're going in to get a ingrown toenail fixed or you're going in to get heart surgery. Going under the needle is very, very strenuous. I'm over here whining and crying because of this shit, okay? And a lot of people out there are saying, man, that ain't shit, okay? Well, to me it is. To me it is. I've never had surgery before. I've never had problems with medical issues ever arise. Another thing that could lead to, being scared is I just turned 60 years old. All right. I have a lot of people tell me, well, 60 is the turning age. 60 is the age that you really start getting the downfall. You know, I don't feel that yet. I don't feel like I'm having a downfall, but that's what they say, you know. And when they say that, you know, and you're turning 60 years old and you're getting older by the day, how are you supposed to react? You know, you know, you're around that age, you get this done, and then all of a sudden now, you know, my knee's fucked up. Am I going to get knee surgery? No, I'm not. I'm not going to get any fucking knee surgery because I've never met anybody in my life that's got knee surgery and it's lasted and actually felt better. I've always been told, don't ever get knee surgery. I talked to a guy at the hardware store in town and I said, hey, I got that carpal tunnel. And he said, yeah, I just had back surgery. There's a lot of people out there that are in a lot worse shape than I am. And listening to me whine and cry and complain about my shit probably isn't nothing compared to a lot of people out there. I actually posted, anybody that's a Facebooker, I posted pictures of, they made me take a COVID test before I had my surgery. And the way they do it, and I posted pictures of it on Facebook, is they actually give you the fucking thing, okay? It's about this long, and it's got a little cotton swab on the end. And then they actually give that to you in an envelope with your name on it. It's got your name on it, your date of birth, your social security number, all this shit, your life history. And then they tell you to go in the bathroom behind closed doors and stick it up in your nose. Now, doesn't that seem a little bit curious to you? Doesn't that seem a little bit suspicious that they would give this thing to you and have you go behind closed doors with not them watching at all to trust you that you're going to do this test? Doesn't that seem a little bit odd? I'm just saying, okay? I mean, I could have actually wiped my ass off after I did the big thing and, you know, stuffed it up my ass or possibly wiped it off some toilet paper. It's like, here you go, take this in the bathroom, stick it up in your nose, and then, you know, bring it back and we'll tell you if you got COVID disease. I mean, it just seems kind of oddball to me, you know, that they're going to the extreme on CBS News, on the news feed, on Facebook, said that in the last week at some hospital, 250 people died last week in this one hospital. I didn't click on it because I don't give a shit. I'm not going to read the fake news. I'm not going to do that. But the media and the hype on this thing is getting outrageous. Now, you know, CDC says that you don't have to quarantine anymore for 14 days. You don't have to do that. All right? You don't have to. But what you do need to do is quarantine for 7 days. We're going to jack it down. So that's telling me that this virus bullshit that's supposed to be out there, that the killer disease, I had it. I had the COVID virus. Everybody knows that. At the time when I had it, I was scared shitless. And it's because and caused by the news media and the hype that it's been given everybody. I think I know two people right here in town that got it. And both of them had different symptoms. One didn't have no lung issues at all, no lung symptoms. The other one, he just basically had a cold for about 5 or 6 days and he was fine. The guy that had no lung issues, the other guy, he lost his breathing and his taste. It's real. Let's not go ahead and bullshit and say it's not. It is. There is a virus out there, okay? I asked the nurse today, I said, hey, how many people you got down there that got virus? I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, that was kind of odd that they would just give you this envelope with a thing in there and make you do it. I don't know. I mean, for how strict and how horrifying and graphic that this disease is, it just really, really shocks me that they would give you your own test to go in the bathroom behind closed doors like you're going to give them a urine test and then do it yourself and give it back to. It just seems weird. That's all. I did get my surgery. It went pretty good. My hand is throbbing and it's killing me. Anybody that's had this knows what I'm talking about. And anybody that, let me go ahead and do it this way. Anybody that is in the process of getting carpal tunnel surgery, okay, it's not as bad as you think. It really isn't. I think the thing that scared me the most is them shooting me with the needle and putting me to sleep and me not waking up. So that was kind of weird. But the main thing that happens that I found out is after they do the surgery on your hand, okay, what happens is you get cartilage buildup right here. And it kind of leaves a big bump. And if you don't massage that and you don't work it down, it will get bigger and bigger and bigger. Now that's what I was told. So what I've been doing is I've been massaging it continuously, because if that cartilage buildup gets real big, then it'll be scar tissue and then it'll just be a big lump there. But I will tell you this, having carpal tunnel syndrome sucks. I lived with it for 6 years. And you can't go to sleep. If you go to sleep and you might sleep 2 hours at night and then you wake up because your hand is just killing you. It's throbbing. It goes to sleep. It goes all the way to sleep up into your arm. And you got to put your arm behind your back like this, or you got to sleep on it in a weird way and you got to move around. And that's what this hand was just starting to do. This hand was just getting into the stage of this hand. And what really freaked me out is when I got this, I was mountain biking in Colorado. And I was staying in a motel. And my hand was fine. Nothing was wrong with it. Everything was cool. And all of a sudden, the next morning I woke up, my hand it felt like I didn't have it. I could have took a hammer and hit my hand with it and I couldn't have felt it. And it stayed like that for about 5 days, for 4 or 5 days. And I was like freaking out. I didn't know what it was. Of course, at the time, I didn't have insurance. I couldn't go to the hospital. I couldn't go to the doctors. And, that's another situation. There's a lot of people out there that need surgeries like this that don't have the money and don't have the insurance. And it fucking sucks, And that's where the real pain is when you look at yourself in the morning in the mirror and you see that hand hurting or your leg or your back or whatever, and you're praying to God, what can I do? I don't have any money. I don't have insurance. I don't have nothing. The only thing you can do is what I did for 7 years, 6, 7, 8 years, is live with it. And it sucks. It really, really sucks. Our wonderful government came out with this fantastic, beautiful idea that we should have Obamacare. All right? And if you don't get Obamacare, you're going to pay us. One way or the other, you're paying. I mean, what kind of insurance is that? What kind of action is that? If there's anybody in Australia watching this, I would like you to please leave a comment on how your government insurance works. Now, this is what I've heard about government insurance in Australia. Everybody pays. If you go to the hospital, it doesn't matter what it's for, it's $25. Because everybody that lives in Australia has a small percentage of their income taken out to go to the government federal Medicare, Australia Medicare. So anything and everything that happens to you, the only time you got to pay is if you pay $25, doesn't matter what it is. So if you're from Australia, I want you to please leave a comment on that and tell me if I'm telling the truth here, if what I've heard is right, and if it isn't, tell us how it actually works. From what I understand, America's got the worst medical system in the world. I don't understand why. But then on the other hand, I do understand why. One of the reasons is because of the greedy pharmaceutical and medical industry corporations. All right? But see, now we're going to try to get in, we're twisting it around, we're getting into politics, and I don't want to do that. All right? I don't want to go to politics. That's not the angle here. The angle was to tell you that if you are waiting for a surgery, if you are in need of a surgery, I know how you feel. You know, I'm not the problem here. Okay, I'm just the guy whining and crying, bitching and complaining. You know, I'm gonna be honest with everybody out there. You would be shocked to see how many hate emails that I get. I just got one from some clown act, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of, you know, put the email together and tell you what it was about. Yeah, my friend Pete, bullshit, you ain't nobody's friend. You love Trump and you hate everything else. You whine and cry, you bitch and complain. You don't know shit about politics, yet on the other hand, you say you're never going to talk about them, but then you do talk about them. I'm sick and tired of hearing your shit. I don't want to hear you no more. Okay, Trump's a piece of shit. Biden should win anyway. Rah. So he's going on and on. He goes, you Republican pieces of shit are nothing but scumbags. And then at the end of the email, guess what he says? Are you sitting down? Are you sitting down? He says, thank God I'm in Canada and that's where I'm from. So I don't have to put up with your politics because I am sick and tired of hearing about it. What the fuck? Why are you emailing me about American politics and you live in Canada, you fucking idiot? The guy lives in Canada and he's over there whining, bitching, and complaining about American politics. I don't understand. I really don't. And then, to top it off, he emails me to tell me I'm a piece of shit. I had this guy email me one time, and he says he wanted to talk about the Federal Reserve. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know shit about Federal Reserve. I don't know what, you know. I know that they have something to do with our dollar bill, and they're in control of the banking systems or whatever. And if I'm not saying it right, I'm telling you again, I don't know shit about it. I don't involve myself with that crap. This guy says that he wants to pay my expenses to come to California to his yacht club or wherever the hell he's at. And he wants me to give a speech on how I feel about the United States government and the Federal Reserve. Now, the guy called me on the phone. He's talking to me, okay? Are you sitting down? Are you sitting down? The guy's not even from America. He's from some other country in the UK. I don't know where he was from. I think the Netherlands or Ireland or some shit. I don't know. But he wants me to come to his yacht club in California and get up in front of all these rich people, cussing and hollering and tell them what I think about, I guess, life in general. I don't fucking know. Okay? I don't know. I told him, you're crazy, dude. You're fucking crazy. I'm not doing it. So, in retaliation of me saying no, he decided to email me 3 or 4 times a fucking week and tell me how I'm a piece of shit, and he's going to come to Dallas, Texas, and take care of me in a way that I should be taken care of. And also, on top of that, he's talking about how he's going to take care of Minnie the body shop girl. Well, I finally ended up, I had to block the guy because he wouldn't leave me alone. And when I say block, I'm talking on my landline and on my emails. Never heard from the idiot again. Minnie gets some very exotic and drastic and hateful emails as well. But we don't let that kind of shit bother us because we know that it's just closet clowns hiding in their closets that will never do anything. And all they are is big loudmouths trying to get their little attention to do what they got to do. So, but moving down the line, I got my surgery by the grace of God, and I'm going to tell you how I got it. I got it because I got COVID-19. Now, you're going to look at me and you're going to say, that's stupid. That doesn't make no fucking sense. Well, what happened is when I got COVID-19, I got it in the state of Utah. Now, the state of Texas, if I would have got COVID-19 there, they would have gave me 3 aspirin and said, get the fuck out of the hospital, go home. That's it. It would have been done deal. Bam, it's over. Texas and Arkansas are the #1 states of the worst medical assistance in the United States. It's Texas and Arkansas. I didn't know this. I didn't know that this was like a state thing, okay? Depending on what state you live in is going to tell you what kind of medical care you're going to get. And Texas and Arkansas are the worst. So anyway, I get to Utah and I get my credit card out, not my credit card, my debit card, because I went to this emergency thing here. I go to this emergency thing and they say, oh, you don't have to pay us. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, you don't want my social security number, you don't want my address, you don't want nothing. They said, no, we don't want nothing. And I'm like, what the fuck? They didn't ask me for any insurance. They didn't ask me for a debit card or credit card, or they didn't even ask how I was going to pay. So after I went to this emergency care place, they said, if you go home, they said, go buy this little machine that goes on the tip of your finger and it reads your oxygen level. And they said, when you get home, if it reads below this number, and I think it was 82 or something, I don't remember, you have to come back to the hospital immediately. So, of course, my friend Pete, being the guy that I am, I'm freaking out. And, I'm like, motherfucker, man, I'm dying over here. I put that thing on, and it's going down below this 82 or 86. So Minnie rushes me to the hospital. She takes me to the hospital, okay? Now, I'm telling you how I got this surgery, okay, and why it's a grace of God that I got it. And if you want to be a hater out there and say you're a piece of shit, go ahead. I don't care. Go ahead and do what you got to do, Mr. Hater. Fuck. Okay? Let me get back to the story here. I go to the emergency room, and they, in turn, don't ask me where I live. They don't ask, all they ask is for my full name and my birth date. That's it. They don't ask me for insurance, because in Texas, if you go to the hospital in Texas, the emergency room, the first thing they ask you is, let me see your insurance card. They don't ask your name, they don't ask shit. The first thing they want to do is see your insurance card or how you're going to pay for it. And if you don't have any way of paying for it, bam, bitch, the security guard's here. Please escort this asshole out. They go ahead and run their schematics, and they do everything they can. I was there for like 3.5 hours. They said, do you want us to quarantine you for 14 days? It's free, no cost. You can stay right here in the hospital, and we'll quarantine you, blah, 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 blah. Or would you prefer to go home? And I said, I'm going to go home. Okay, Once again, I say, here, let me give you my debit card. No. What we're going to do is we are going to give you paperwork that you need to fill out. Well, what this paperwork was for is for Medicaid. And I told the doctor, I said, there's no way. I ain't going to get Medicaid, dude. There's no fucking way. He looks at me and says, don't be surprised when they tell you, yes, you qualify for Medicaid. And I said, look, there's no fucking way. And he said, I'm going to tell you again, you take the paperwork home, have your wife fill it all out in detail, you'll get an answer in the mail. You don't owe us a penny. Have a great day. We'll contact you in the morning. These motherfuckers called me every morning at 8 o'clock in the morning to see how I was doing for approximately 10 days. They wanted to know what my vital signs were. They wanted to know everything. Did you sleep good last night? Is there anything we can do for you? Do you need to come back to the hospital? What's your temperature? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, we'll call you tomorrow. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? This is crazy. So Minnie goes ahead and fills out the paperwork. And I'm sitting here nervous and freaking out thinking we're going to be getting some bills for like $20,000 fucking dollars, you know, for having this bullshit virus and having to go to the emergency room, because everybody knows you go to the emergency room, they got like, it's like $3,000 or $4,000 fucking dollars just to walk in there, you know, right? Am I right or wrong here? All right, tell me, leave a comment, let me know how much it is at your hospital if you go there, how much they're going to charge you to go to the hospital in your town at the emergency room. Because in Dallas, Texas, if you don't have insurance, they aren't going to fucking see it. If you don't have a credit card that they pre-run, now did you hear what I said? They'll pre-run your credit card to make sure that you have substantial credit on there. If you have $100 or $200, that ain't going to cut it. All right? So Minnie fills this paperwork out. Approximately a month and a half later, and let me tell you, it was no easy chore filling this paperwork out. She was on telecom communications with them, FaceTimes. She was giving tax records and you know, just basically all her information. And even Minnie's going, we're never going to get this. This is bullshit. And I said, man, don't stop now. We don't have the fucking money to pay this. Let's just see if we can get it to pay it off. Okay. Well, to our surprise, we go to our mailbox and there's an envelope from the state of Utah. And in that envelope, there's 2 Medicaid cards in there. So all of the medical attention I got from COVID, that was paid for completely 100%. And I told Minnie, I said, I can't believe this. If we got Medicaid, we need to use it. So the first thing I did is I said, call and see if they got a knee specialist so I could go to it. Now, what our understanding is that if they accept Medicaid, you only have to pay $4. $4, that's it, out of your pocket. So anyway, I go to the knee specialist, and that's when I found out that I had carpal. I didn't think I had carpal tunnel. All right, now I've watched some videos of people that have their hand that goes to sleep and nerve like mine was, and they said on one dick face in particular, I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a dickhead. And he's a total asshole. He's a fucking jerk off. But I guess he had the same situation that I had with my hand. And he was claiming that the doctor told him, you either got a pinched nerve in your neck or you got some tendons in your elbow that are fucked up. So, and that's what I was thinking was wrong with mine. And that's just from doing my own research, not from fucking around, you know, listening to this clown act, this idiot out there in Michigan that makes videos that thinks he's somebody, which he's not. Thank you very much. Anyway, So when I went to this knee specialist, he tells me that I have a mild case of arthritis in my knees. And he says, let me see your hands. And he puts my hands like this. And he does this with my thumbs. And he says, you have carpal tunnel syndrome. Did you know that? And I said, is that what that is? And he said, yeah, you need to get that surgery immediately. If you wait any longer, your hand can be destroyed and you will not be able to use your hand anymore. And I'm like, are you fucking joking me? And I said, well, I don't even have money for that. Don't worry, you have Medicaid. So he hooks me up with a doctor in Moab, beautiful doctor that she is, wonderful doctor. We get this hand done, and I told Minnie, I said, motherfucker, I'm going to go ahead and get this bitch done at the same time. I don't give a fuck. If I can get it done, and the grace of God has given me this power and given me the little card that says, yes, my friend Pete, you can get it done, then I am going to get the motherfucker done. And that's exactly what I did. Now, I remember when I lived in Colorado, because that's where I'm from. I was born and raised in Colorado, and I moved when I was like, I don't know, probably 22. I moved to Texas. But in Colorado, you never had to have insurance. If you didn't have insurance, they took care of you. They took care of you, and if something was wrong, I cut my finger in half on a table saw, okay? This finger right there, I cut it in half on a table saw. I didn't have fucking insurance. I didn't have shit. I rushed over to the hospital in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. This is like 11 o'clock at night. I was working late. My friend Pete used to make water beds. Does anybody know what a water bed is? Remember those custom wood frames that had all the shelves on them and the captain's drawers on the bottom and all? I used to make that shit. I was a carpenter, water bed, custom carpenter guy. All right, my bed frames sold like fucking, I couldn't put enough of them on the display floor. All right, I did hand carving in the headboards, of mountain sceneries and sunrises, and it was badass. My water beds, I would actually have people that want me to build custom water beds for them. Of course, when I cut my finger in half, the scumbag that I worked for fired me. But anyway, fuck all that. It also, by cutting my finger in half, I'm going to go ahead and grab this, okay? I'm going to go ahead and say this. My friend Pete used to be an awesome guitar player. And I was actually in several bands when I was a kid. And I was a lead vocal singer. That's right, my friend Pete used to sing. I was a rock and roll star in my fucking eyes when I was a teenager. Okay? That was me. All right? I played that fucking guitar, and let me tell you, I didn't fuck around. But when I cut my fucking finger in half, you know what happened? You want me to tell you what happened? Okay? Let me put my baby down. This is my number one. I'm going to put him back over here. Okay? Hold it right there. Okay? Let me tell you what happened when I cut my finger in half. Okay? This is a calling for my friend Pete. This was a calling that said, guess what, asshole? Wake the fuck up. When I was Mr. Rock and Roll Star, okay, Johnny Rocker, and I was building water beds, I didn't have no fucking money. I was like on the verge, on the fucking line of being a homeless dude. Okay? I was getting paid fucking nickels and pennies from these assholes that I worked for, making these fucking water. And that's why they let me work there. Because I did awesome fucking work. Okay? They sold the son of bitches for thousands of dollars, and I got my little, $3 or $2.25 an hour fucking paycheck. All right? Hell, there was nights that I slept in the fucking sawdust over in the back room where we built the son of a bitches. When I cut my fucking finger in half, all right? When I cut that finger, and I cut it this way. I didn't cut it off. The saw, when I was sawing the board, okay, looky here, see that? The saw, when I was sawing it, my finger went into the blade just like that. and it cut it in half and chipped the bone, and it made my finger cockeyed. So when I play the guitar, and it also hardened up my finger. Well, it's after 30, 40 years, it's almost back to normal. But I couldn't play the guitar like I used to. I was fucked. I cried. I wept. I felt sorry for myself. I wanted to commit fucking suicide because my dream was to be Mr. Johnny Rocker. But when I cut my finger in half, and after several days of this whining and crying shit and suicide thoughts, I finally woke up and I said, you know what? This is probably a godsend. This is a sign that says, get off your fucking ass, quit feeling sorry for yourself, and do something. So I proceeded to go on with life. I still play the guitar every now and then. I'm an improviser. That's what I do. I turn my fucking radio on. I listen to some blues. I plug my guitar into my little amp. And I play along with the fucking radio. And I enjoy it. And I have fun. I think back to those days when I was Mr. Johnny Rocker. And everybody around me that was involved in that did drugs. Now, we're not talking, marijuana here. Okay? We're talking acid. Does anybody know what acid is? All right. What do they call that? Blue Dragon, Red Dragon, four-way hit. Mushrooms, okay? That was a big thing. Let's all go mushroom hunting in the mountains in Colorado. Bring back a bunch of mushrooms, and hopefully they're not the kind that kill you. Everybody was doing that, but my friend Pete wasn't. So being Mr. Johnny Rocker back then was kind of fucking hard, because back then you had to be part of that scene or you weren't shit. And I refused to do the fucking drugs. I refused to smoke the marijuana. I refused to drink the alcohol like it was water out of a faucet. I refused to do that. So I probably wouldn't have been Johnny Rocker anyway. My brother died from drugs when he was 15. My dad was a violent alcoholic. And that's probably what saved my fucking ass from being an alcoholic or a drug addict. Is by seeing my brother die, that was 1 year older than me, and living the life with a violent, and I'm talking seriously motherfucking violent, alcoholic dad, okay, kept me on a straight fucking arrow line. Anyway, so when I was in Colorado and I cut my finger in half, we're going back to the story now. When I cut my finger in half, I ran to the hospital. Of course, I got this big piece of foam wrapped around it. And the first thing they did, they took the foam off and they sprayed it with something. I think it was fucking alcohol. And they took this fucking needle, it was like that fucking long, and had one guy holding my finger like this. And the fucking nurse took that needle right into that cut and shot it. Motherfucker! Almost made me pass out. I couldn't believe it. So I kept asking them about playing guitar, and I kept asking them, what are they going to do, blah, blah, blah. Well, they ended up stitching, not just the outside, but they have these stitches they put on the inside, so they had to double wall it up, double stitch it. The doctor at that time at the hospital said, I seriously doubt that you're going to be able to play the guitar like you used to. And let me tell you, I tried everything. Okay, I even went so far as I made a plastic finger cover. Does anybody know who Black Sabbath is? Anybody? Black Sabbath, hello. War Pigs. Tony Iommi. Does anybody know who Tony Iommi is? Tony Iommi is the guitarist for Black Sabbath. And what he did is he cut 2 of his fingers off. Okay, now he was born to be a rocker. I wasn't, obviously. Johnny Rocker, he left my life. I went on to, I would call myself bigger and better things, because I'm still here and I'm alive and doing really fucking good. Tony Iommi cut his fingers in half at the factory he worked at. And I believe, if I remember correctly from the story, that he said it was the last day that he worked there that he cut his fingers off. Because he gave him a 10-day notice that he was quitting because they were getting ready to start this rock band. And the last day he was there, he cut his fingers off. Well, Tony Iommi didn't give up. He made these fucking covers, and at first he made them out of metal for his fingers so he can play the guitar. Now, Tony Iommi, for all your guitar gurus out there, he is the creator and the king of power chord playing. And what power chord playing is, if you listen to his songs, but I'm going to give you a good example of power chord playing. Smoke on the Water. Deep Purple. Does anybody out there know who Deep Purple is? Smoke on the Water. That's like the #1 guitar song that all kids in the world, I don't know if it is today, but that was like the #1 guitar song that everybody in the world wanted to play. Because it was two strings, 2 fingers, bum, 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 bum. That's a power chord. Tony Iommi was the creator and the king of power chord guitar playing. My friend Pete, what am I the king of? It definitely ain't the fucking guitar. So, back to the situation. Now, there's going to be people out there that are going to look at this little story I just told them about Medicaid, and they're going to say, you're a fucking piece of shit. No, I'm not. I'm not a piece of shit. I did everything legally. Okay? I didn't forge anything or jive it up or make it look like I'm some poor guy living under a bridge. They gave me the fucking Medicaid legally, and I used it. Okay? I used the tools that they gave me, and God said, get your hands fixed now, motherfucker. Do it. And that's what I did. And that is why I say it's by the grace of God. Maybe, okay, the grace of God cut my finger in half to take me away from all that shit. Because maybe if I wouldn't have cut my finger in half, I might have ended up like my sister. Dead, 6 feet under. I forgot to tell you, I had a sister die from heroin. We don't know. Dysfunctional. Does anybody know what that means? Anybody come from a dysfunctional family? Do you? You really think so, huh? I have a fucking brother. Let me tell you about this. I have a brother. He's the youngest brother, okay, because I had 4 brothers, 2 sisters. Don't do that again, son of a bitch. The youngest brother hated me from the day he was fucking born. I remember when the son of a bitch was born, I would hold him and he'd start hollering, screaming, and crying. I remember when we were little kids, and we had bunk beds, me and my brother Anthony, we had bunk beds in our bedroom. And I had my brother Chris on the top bunk with me. And he was hollering, screaming, and crying when he was about, I don't know, probably a year and a half old. My dad came in, grabs me, throws me on the ground, beats the shit out of me. My little brother Chris, he's up on the fucking bunk bed, and you can see year-and-a-half-year-old smirking and laughing. So do you really know what dysfunctional is? Because I fucking don't think you do. I really don't. But that's another day and another story. Dysfunctional families are some of the worst situations you will ever fucking be in your life. Because it will brand your brain and ruin your life. If you fucking let it. See what I did, okay? what I did, I took my dad's alcoholism and all the beatings that I used to get when I was 3, 4, 5 years old. Okay, my dad used to take us down in the basement. He'd get home at 2 or 3 in the morning, wake our fucking ass up, take us down in the basement. He had a padlock on the inside of the door, bitch. He had one of those machines that you would, okay, it turns into a lathe, and then you flip it up this way, and it's a bandsaw, and then you bring it back down here, and it's a table saw. All right, what's that thing called? I don't even remember that. I'm so pissed off right now. I don't even remember the name of this fucking thing. He had some plywood in the corner. Okay, it was 1/8 inch plywood. Maybe it was thinner than that. I don't know, but it was some pretty thin shit. I wouldn't say it was real thick, but I believe it was 1/8 inch. He would literally make us sit there on our fucking chairs and watch him make 3 paddles. One for me, one for my brother Anthony, and one for my brother Mike. And he would beat our fucking asses until that paddle broke on our ass. And all 3 of us would have to sit there and watch this happen to each other. And then, when the piece of shit got done, he'd go upstairs, grab my mom by her hair, throw her on the floor, and whoop her ass with a motherfucking coffee pot cord. I don't know how many guys are as old as I am, because I'm getting to be an old motherfucker here. But when I was a little kid, when I used to get my ass whooped like that, we used percolators to make coffee. Percolator's a coffee pot about this tall, and you open the lid up. It's got a little round container. You put your coffee, you put your water in the pot of coffee, and then it bubbles up and grabs it and brings it back down. And it has a removable cord. Well, he beat the shit out of my mom with the cord. Now, let's not feel sorry for my mom, okay? We're not going to do that, because my mom was a piece of shit too. But that's another day and another story. So you think you know what dysfunctional family is? You probably fucking do. Some of you, not all of you. But what I'm trying to get at here is I took my dysfunctionality and I used that as a tool to guide my life to where I am today. I looked at my dad and said, I will never be like that fucking asshole. And I looked at my brother and I said, I will never be like him taking drugs. And I looked at my mom and I said, I will never be like her and take handouts from people. And whatever I fucking get in life, I'm going to make for myself. I'm not going to have people give me. Whatever I got, I fucking made it and I deserve it. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete. I think I'm done talking tonight. I got my surgery by the grace of God. This hand right here, I almost lost this fucking hand. Now you can sit there and say, I don't know how you thought you lost it. When I went to the doctors, he told me if I don't get that surgery, you will lose everything in your hand. I had carpal tunnel for almost 8 fucking years. My fingers are numb. These 3 right here. That'll probably be there the rest of my life. But by the grace of God, this shit has come to an end. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and say something else. Remember that little email I told you about at the beginning? That fucking idiot from Canada that was bitching at me for talking about Trump and Biden and all that. He also told me that, using God's name in your videos, yeah, a real cheapskate way, to have people like you. No, fuck you. Okay? I'm going to tell you just like I told this bitch. I was born Catholic. I will fucking die Catholic. I love Jesus Christ with all my heart. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, one. Okay? I might cuss, I might holler, I might be a loudmouth, I might be an ugly motherfucker, I might be an old bitch asshole, whatever you want to call me. But let me tell you something. Jesus Christ is my Savior, and that's life, okay? And that's how it'll always be in my life, whether I talk about it all the time or whether I don't. So once again, I'm going to tell you, by the grace of God, my hands have been healed. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, getting her done and doing it right by the grace of God. Bitch, I gotta go.